Welcome back to the GSL Up and Downs, of course, for WCS Korea. And this has been a pretty interesting series. We saw Lenok taking a risk, we saw Keen taking a risk, and here's our standings.
Rune is currently together with Pigbaby in the top spot here after only one map played. The next game is actually between the two of them, so we will see one of them go 2-0 in the group. Keen with a 1-1 after taking down Lenok, who is now at the bottom of the group together with the Startail player Avenge. So really interesting results for the first few maps that we have here. But now we are heading into the second set of matches, and it should be pretty interesting to see if especially Rune can make the PvP work once again in his favor and take this 2-0 lead in the group, or if it's going to be the Jing Air Green Wings player, if it's going to be Pigbaby who takes the top spot.
Yeah, you know, Jin Air Wings is, or Jin Air Green Wings I should say, is a pretty small team. Not a ton of, not a ton of pros versus pros practice to be had here. He's got a few we can work with, but again, I really like Ruin's pros versus pros style. Seems very good with the multitasking. He's actually one of the players who's pushing PvP ahead of just Colossi Wars and sitting back. He does harassment all the time. He gets blinked and he pokes. He's very, very strong in the matchup, and I favor him again here.
He just has to be a little bit careful. He made too many individual mistakes in the first game against Avenge that worked out, but I feel if he does that in the wrong game, then he's going to lose it for sure, especially those force fields at the ramp. It was alright in the end, but if he misses that against a really heavy gateway aggression in the early game and he lacks the force field there, then he might lose the game immediately. So Rune definitely showing a lot of potential. We talked about this a lot, especially in the Team League. But let's see what he can do here against Pigbaby in their second game. Going into the PvP at WCS Up and Downs, Colombo. Starting to the top right in green, we have hopefully the Jin Air Green Wings player. No!
LJM Ruin!
That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Why would you choose green if you are not the Jin Air Green Wings player?
Just to mess with Keldor.
Yeah, I guess
so. Reason for me, I'd do it.
As we said earlier, we have no observer computer for today, so we have no chance to actually look these things up before they are on screen. We see exactly what you see. To the bottom right of the map, we have in red the Jin Air Green Wings player. This is, of course,
Jin Air Green Wings Pigbaby.
It was actually so unfortunate for me. Like, I looked at the screen and I'm like, well, I do not know who's starting here at the top right.
You had a 50-50 chance.
I had a 50-50 chance, and I was thinking, hey, if one of those guys picks green, who is the more likely player to do that? Like, the guy who actually has the color in his team name or not? So we are currently looking at the second PvP of the day. Keep in mind that both of them were able to win their first match. So whoever takes this is going up in the group with the 2-0 and will have a pretty decent chance to get out of that group. At least that early lead.
Yeah. Well, on this map, sometimes we see very similar mid to late game scenarios that we saw on Star Station in the previous PvP. But with these positions, you can attack a little bit faster. This map is really unique because there's a lot of space, and so when you engage, there's not even really a choke point at your natural. Like we saw when we had the previous game, and Ruin was trying to defend against that last all-in by Avenge. He had a very narrow choke point to attack into, but on this map it's a little bit different. You have a lot more space, a lot more area to fan out. Third base is really nearby and easy to take as well. So I expect similar games, and I don't think this time we're going to see Blink Stalkers from either player. Could see, on the other hand, an Oracle build or a Phoenix build, just maybe.
You know, we talked about the record that, by the way, the overlay here, of course, is currently wrong. This is not the correct overlay. This is still from the last game. That should be fixed in just a few seconds. But this is, of course, not the game between Keen and Lenok with two Plurals players on the map, so don't get freaked out if you see that. They didn't change the race. But what I was about to say is that we talked a little bit about Ruin's statistics in the matchup with the 60% win ratio. Has a pretty decent one right here. But if you look at actually Pigbaby, he hasn't lost a single map in Protoss vs. Protoss yet. He played 4 maps. He took down Rain, which is quite impressive in itself. He took down Sickness, and he took down Zest. So pretty interesting statistic here for him. And we have actually Ruin go into a Stargate.
Yep, he's the one who goes Stargate. In fact, we have a Stargate as well for Pigbaby now.
That's so funny when that happens, that we could see so many epic things now.
Well, you know, the worst possible scenario is one person goes Oracle, one person goes Phoenix, and the person who goes Oracle just gets slapped like a salmon out of water, so we'll see.
But Phoenix versus Phoenix is always pretty funny to observe, especially when that long range upgrade comes into play. So let's see what those guys are up to, and for Ruin we have the Phoenix. as you would expect, very few Protoss player go still for an Oracle build.
Oh. There's only a few ways that's really good, and on this map it's just not really good at all. But you still have it every now and then because it's very surprising. Can really mess with a player who goes for a one-base pressure play. And there it is, in fact. Pigbaby's going for it, and he is going to be so sad.
Wow, yeah. If that Oracle gets spotted, that would be horrible for him. The Phoenix is now already on the way. I wouldn't be surprised if he sees that Phoenix in time. I wouldn't be surprised at all for him to cancel the Oracle.
Yeah, he should if he does see it, and so far he has not. It's really it's a tragedy. Look at this. Oh,
he should
cancel right away. He should cancel right away. He should cancel right now. Right now. Cancel that. Maybe he thinks it's a hallucination, though. He could think it's a hallucination, which would actually be normal at this timing. So maybe that's why he doesn't cancel it.
He actually clicked on it. He clicked on his starport, and then he just moved back. The Phoenix, on the other hand, I don't even know if Ruin spotted the tech. I do not think he did.
No, he didn't do it yet. This is kind of funny. We have these pressuring stalkers at the front. They're going to try to protect the Oracle, I guess. This is so weird. He's got aggressive stalkers here, forward plowing. And with the Oracle, I guess he's going to try to do some extra ground damage and try to kill Ruin here before he has the production. The Void Ray, though, is on the way.
Exactly, the Void Ray, and it's only the second one coming in, so with the Void Ray alone and the Mothership Core for the Photon Overcharge, he should be fine.
And he can also lift. Finds the Oracle here, and goodbye. Goodbye, Oracle. He is not. The Photon Overcharge is a little bit late, but he does get it up.
Yeah, he gets immediately the Mothership Core, so he needs to rebuild that at some point as well. But for now, we have already the first Oracle taken out, and now it's Stalkers alone for Pigbaby. The second Void Ray is going to be in the game in just a few seconds, on the other hand, and Void Rays alone are just so strong.
I think Ruin is definitely in the better position here because he can lift. He has the second Void Ray about to come out. He does not have a Mothership Core, but his Photon Overcharge is still active. It's buying him time to get that third gate, which will instantly warp into Warp Gate Research. And Pigbaby can try here. He certainly can, but it's just not going to be very likely. Here we go. Only one Void Ray can charge up. He charges it. The second one doing damage. Even Probes coming off the line here.
Coming off the line, taking those Stalkers into a bad spot. A good force field this time, and he takes down everything. Bam! Pigbaby is dropping in supply, and he's losing everything. He didn't even manage to take down a single Void Ray. And this just shows how strong Void Rays currently are against Stalkers. Really, really well played by Ruin. And Pigbaby just very unlucky with his initial opening here.
Yeah, you know, luck factors into this, but this is, again, one of the many reasons why children do not go Oracles anymore. Just do not do that anymore. It's highly not recommended.
He just did not expect the Stargate opening from Ruin. He was gambling here a little bit, taking a calculated risk, and that did not work out well for him. And now he's, of course, the player who is way, way behind his opponent. We already have Ruin going across the map, going to the bottom left, taking down that probe that spotted everything. But he can do whatever he wants here. And this is a really strong position for Ruin to be in. We have a Phoenix army here for Pigbaby, but is that really going to win him the game?
I don't think so.
Highly doubt it.
It helps a little bit, that for sure, especially if he gets a Phoenix for free here, which he nearly does. I don't actually think that Ruin has to commit to this, though. He could easily just start a Nexus at his natural. I think that's probably what he's going to do. But if he continues to pressure like this, he's walking a very thin line. And even going DTs like he looks to be doing here is pretty weird. He needs to pull those Void Rays back to safety. There's not a whole lot of anti-air. And you know what? Pigbaby is quickly turning this around.
Yeah, that was actually a little bit of a weak move here by Ruin. I don't think he saw that those Void Rays were suddenly overgrounded, not bodyguarded, not babysitted anymore by the Stalkers. And this suddenly is changing up to be a very, very different game at this point. So suddenly he's in a position where he takes down one of the Void Rays, and there are a lot of Phoenixes now on this map.
Yeah.
Oh my god, he gets the second one too. No, he doesn't.
Oh wow, only 36 hit points left, but still, he actually just sends one Phoenix in here. It's not going to be quite enough. I don't think he realizes, well,
that Phoenix is literally running circles around the army. In the main base, on the other hand, that attempt does not work out, not with Ruin having Stalkers in position.
I don't like the blink choice here. It's a good way to help deal with Phoenixes, but it's too much of an investment right now. He only has a few Stalkers on the map, and
the one thing why he goes for Blink, I feel, is because he wants to protect that base. He goes into the second base a lot faster, so with Blink he's a little bit more mobile, jumping between the main and the natural. But he really needs to do that now, because suddenly the supply for both of them is actually the same. It's just that base that we have for Ruin that is helping him so much.
This is just really weird decision-making I'm watching right now.
2 hit points left on the Mothership Core.
Pigbaby's idea here was just to go in and snipe the core. He loses so many of his hit points. He doesn't do a whole lot of damage. And, you know, when Blink does finish, since he keeps all of his Stalkers, since he didn't attack with his Phoenixes and Zealots together, I don't ask me why. I think that Ruin probably has this now.
Ruin needs the Photon Overcharge against these Zealots. Look at the Gateway army that we have just on the doorstep of Ruin. The natural is being Chrono boosted. Here come those Phoenixes again. The rest of the army is not moving in right now, but it has been spotted. It has been spotted, so he knows exactly what's coming up. Where's that Photon Overcharge? The Mothership Core is low in HP, but he needs it. And he needs the rest of his Stalkers swapping in units. Blink is not done just yet, and here comes Pigbaby trying to make this happen.
All the Stalkers on the high ground cannot blink down yet. There's no blink just yet. It's almost ready. Overcharge doing work here, but I don't know if there's enough damage output for Pigbaby.
Well, we have Avenge in a position where he can actually shoot with most of the Stalkers since the Phoenixes are in range, but Blink will be done in a second. And now it is Avenge who pushes his opponent back. He's able to kill so many of the Stalkers. Most of the Gateway armies are already gone, and the Phoenixes alone will never be able to handle this.
GG, and Ruin just continuing to show why he is the better Protoss versus Protoss player here. There was some really big mistakes by Pigbaby in this game. The first one was going Oracles and PvP on a map like this, but some of the micro decisions we saw, if he had moved his Phoenixes up with those early Zealots he had earlier, I don't know what he was thinking. He was going to surprise his opponent or something. He had already been seeing there was no Nexus there. It gave his opponent enough time to get Photon Overcharge up. He flew his Phoenixes and didn't try to kill anything. He could have actually ended the game earlier.
That was the first map loss that Pigbaby ever had in PvP. Doesn't have too many games played offline yet, only 4 maps played, but still, that was his first loss in this matchup. Yep. And Ruin just continuing his stride here and going up 2-0 in the group. As it is, if Ruin actually wins the game against Keen, only looking at the current results, if he wins the game later on against the Leanog, then it doesn't matter too much just now, because then we could still have a tiebreaker here for the spots that will allow the players to go to the Premier League. But if he wins the game against Keen that he has to play later on, and takes the 3-0 by defeating the Terran player, then he's already through. Yep. So he's already in a really good spot here, and of course the rest depends a little bit on the matches that we have.
Very true.
But that is starting to shaping up really nicely for the LGIM Protoss. And now it's of course time, we have the two already on screen, for Avenge versus Leanog.
Both the players who are 0-1 in the group, the losers here. Leanog looking, to be honest, to the layman, most people couldn't see it. When I look at Leanog in the booth right now, I think he actually is feeling the stress. I think he's feeling some really big pressure here. Just looking at his facial expressions, I can tell you right now he's not feeling good about this one.
But keep in mind that he had a little bit of a shaky Zerg versus Terran to begin with, and the matchup that he really has to shine is the one against Protoss, since we have 3 Protoss players in the group.
Yes.
So if he is making that work, then he is completely fine here. The decision just to go into the 2 base Mutalisks in the game against Keen is always one of those hit or miss builds, where you fall behind in the upgrades. Leanog was actually holding on for a long time here, but in the end, the upgrade advantage of Keen just pushing through, and the Terran player himself just played a great game here, so...
You're absolutely right. Avenge looking very serious here. This match determines a lot for these 2 players. The loser, of course, it's no longer going to be up to them whether or not they get out of the group. They're going to have to hope for things to go certain ways. Guangli Beach is the map, 2-player map here. We're going to the beach. This is the GSL Up and Downs with Calder and Wolf.